Good morning. Today is Thursday, October 23. It's 7:04 a.m. Central Time. So let's just get into it and see what things look like. So, quick search on the GPT when it comes to what sentiment looks like for the NQ, ES, and gold. So, for NQ, it looks like a little bit bullish. For ES, mildly bearish bias. So there you go. Not quite agreeing there. And then looks like for gold, defensive flow creeping in, so it looks like we're um, kind of mixed here with gold. So we'll see how that goes. If we look at Grok, we are choppy or neutral with NQ, bearish for ES. So GPT and Grok are kind of agreeing a little bit bearish, and um, a little bit of kind of cooling off for gold as well. And then if we look at Claude, does it give me a sentiment here? Yeah, bearish for NQ, bearish for ES. So across the board, all three AIs are bearish for ES. So that is interesting. And then bullish for gold. So mixed on the NQ, everybody says bearish on ES and mixed on gold. So that is interesting. We'll take that with a grain of salt. I was trying to look at here we go. Had some problems here. I think we'll look at historical flow for yesterday, um, because when I look at live flow, things seem to get messed up here. So if we look at if you look at gold, SPY, or NQ all together, it looks like combined we're bearish. But then if we, let's say, focus on gold, a little bit more bullish flow, SPY bearish, and then I think Qs will be bearish. Oh, and now we're broken. So that's happening. And we can then look at expiry time frame of things that are expiring today, and we will come back to that when we are. This is not fun, so I'll come back to that and look at that later. So when it comes to what's happening on the docket today, so not government still shut down, but we do have the CPI coming out tomorrow, so that is a big deal. Um, I think the only thing that might really move us on the Qs today will be, so earnings for American Airlines, I saw on the news that was good. Not sure about T-Mobile, but we do have, I guess there's forward earnings. I think Intel has earnings today. I was looking at the calendar. Yeah, today's Thursday, so we had Intel. So that's, given the government investment and all that, that is a thing. Also, that reminds me, I think there's talks where the government is looking on putting a fund together to put stakes into quantum computing names, and so I think some of those names are kind of going up based on that news as of yesterday. So that might be potentially something to look forward to in the tech sector. But I think today, like, other than the earnings and stuff, I don't know that much is going to be a catalyst for us. It's just really about CPI tomorrow, unless there's some tweets and all that. I think the latest on the tariff news is November 2nd. China will have 150% tariffs if they don't come to an agreement somehow. So I think they're just figuring all that out. We got T-Mobile's earnings here. So nothing too crazy. Looks like. Yeah, so nothing super off there, it seems like, but we will dive into that more. So that's kind of my read. I think CPI is the biggest thing to kind of keep an eye on, and so we'll just see how that goes. Yeah, I guess I do want to see how people are looking for expiry today. So for all options expiring today on gold, SPY, and Qs, it looks like to be more bearish, or that's the Qs. So more bearish on the Qs there. For gold, more bullish, and then for SPY, So that narrative holds true. I think we're just more bearish on equities and a little bit more bullish on gold. So that is interesting. We'll keep that in mind. Didn't really mark any dark pool levels. Let's see if anything. Or it looks like maybe we're having some data issues. Oh man, this makes me sad. Unless there was absolutely no dark pool levels. Well, I guess that's today. So let's look for gold. In the last 2 days, nothing. Yeah, so I guess we'll have to report this to the Cheddar Flow team here. All right, so can't really use that today. So, and so I guess just for fun, so from an option standpoint, I am looking at Oklo. Um, so we got earnings coming up. This is one of those stocks where it's super hype. There's zero revenue. I think there's, talks of them becoming operational by late, maybe like 2029 or something. But other people are saying it's going to take them 10 years before they're really operational with some nuclear power or something, something. But then I think the administration really likes the stock, so not sure. But I'm looking. We have earnings coming up, so if I think every earnings like we've haven't had any really bad reaction. Kind of muted, up, muted, then up, and then now this other earnings. So there's not a history of any bad reactions to earnings, knowing that they don't make any money. And so I'm kind of looking at that and just seeing if there's which direction there could be to play, given that earnings is coming up in a couple weeks. I wonder just like what news catalyst could be there and like which direction might be the best. But price does say like, hey, we are going down. I don't know that do we go down to 50 or do we kind of shoot back up based on promise and hype? So that's something I'm kind of looking at the side, but I guess we can hop into indexes here. So for the NQs, well, for all the kind of indexes here, so I've been kind of watching it. I was watching it overnight a little bit, expecting some movement and kind of testing back down here, but we're just kind of hanging out. Like this, like resistance level is broken, and we tried to eke all-time highs, broke down back into this level, and now we're just kind of hanging out. So we're just this 2500 zone is kind of where we're holding. It's a little bit bearish this morning, but we did push up like 100 some odd points. I was waiting for it to get up to here. Didn't quite get there. So we're just kind of hanging out. I think to me that kind of signals we're just sideways, kind of waiting for something. Same thing with the ES. For the Russell, again, we're just kind of in this middle of this range that we're kind of in with these. It's just kind of in the middle of that, and Dow is kind of following the ES a little bit, where it broke the high, broke down, nearly broke a new high, and now we're just kind of hanging out in this resistance level. So this 46 670s. So I think we'll just see which way we go. We'll be watching. I think for the lead, I think I'm watching. Might be watching the Dow only because the Dow broke the low of yesterday, while the ES and Nasdaq and Russell have not. And so we'll just see if the Dow continues lower, if that drags everybody down. But then I guess if we break higher, maybe we'll drag everybody up. So let's see. But I think for now I'm just open to both sides. But I think today may just be the sidelines today also because CPI is coming tomorrow. You know, so we'll just kind of see unless the Intel. I mean, Intel earnings are after hours, so it may be sideways. So maybe there's a little bit of just playing both sides, playing the edges for some scalps. Like mean reversion type stuff today. So let's see. For the VIX, looks like we're cooling off back in the 19s, 20s range. Dollar trying to eke back up there. Wow. So the treasury yields are just going, going, going. So let's see if we can get down to this low there, but that is quite interesting. And then for gold, yeah, so here's the thing, right? So now we're bouncing off the EMA. Now is that support from an option standpoint? I think people are bullish. I don't, if you've been in gold this whole time and it's been going like zooming out here, like it's been going up, up, up for the last 2 years, you know? you know, I think there's a lot of people who would be willing to put money to work here. So I think bouncing off of this EMA could be like a nice first push up. We'll see how we react at this level where it broke down, and just kind of see how we go. So we'll just keep an eye on that. See for mega tech. So we got Apple. Oh man. So had that nice breakout, printed a new high, boom, broke back down. So now let's see if we close the gap or not. Microsoft kind of broke out a little bit, but didn't quite get above there. So let's see. Amazon. I mean, holding up, kind of in this downward situation, but you know, it's trying. Looks like it's like you got these push ups and a fall over, push up, fell over, kind of close that gap. And so let's see if we'll push up some more. Google, I mean, holding up pretty good. You know, it's trying to push up, had that sell off, bounced off the EMA, and just kind of hanging out here and seeing how we work around here, this 256 level. So this seems to be a nice level to keep an eye on. It's been like a top here. Maybe is that a double top and we fall over? Not sure. You have to kind of keep an eye. So Meta, I heard on the news that so long-term investors are a little bit. They think Meta is kind of a laggard in all of the AI space. So you know, let's see if price kind of how price shakes out here. But we're holding up and kind of sideways. Nvidia just kind of coiling, hanging out. It's really trying. A lot of red days. Had this one green day push, but more red days and falling over. Feels like a little bit more weakness. Even I mean, it's up, right? Like relatively, it's up. It's strong, but I think in this little pocket, the sellers are not letting bulls take us higher. So we'll just see how that goes. But again, we are up a lot. So Tesla post earnings still sideways. So nothing crazy. We are gapping down here pre-market, and so we'll just see if that holds or if that people buy that back up and push us up. So we'll see. And the Qs are the Qs there, and then so Mega Spy. So Broadcom just kind of hanging out. Berkshire hanging out. So JP Morgan. So this is funny. I like that we broke these lows and so earnings has passed, there's all the credit worries and stuff. Like if it's pretty up there, and so like I'm wondering if there's like a reason to go short here, or a reason to buy some puts, and I kind of feel like I want to. So I'm gonna just pay attention to this, and I will be looking at this later, maybe a couple weeks out type of thing. See if we can maybe retrace this move here. You know, back down to here, like 50% of the move or whatever. So we'll be looking to that. So that'll be interesting. LOI kind of hanging out there, which is good. Sorry, I just moved my charts around. Visa just kind of hanging out, coiling. I feel like Visa could follow JP Morgan, but let's see. But we are just kind of sideways. I think it's just trying to figure things out. Netflix, oh, sad. I mean, also, if you like to buy expensive options, could be a good little short here. And maybe we just kind of drift down given bad news and we drift back down to these levels. It's very possible. So there you go. Costco. I mean, holiday seasons are coming, so we'll just see how all that kind of pans out. That's also something to keep in mind for JP Morgan, but let's see. And then SPY as a SPY. So that's what things look like. So I think overall, my feeling as I look at all this, so SPY is definitely looking like, I mean, we're holding up, but there's a lot more narrative for weakness across these names that I'm looking at. And then when you look at the ones that are shared with tech, that's the indexes. Google is kind of our savior, and it's potentially forming a double top. So we'll just have to see. and Nvidia, it's not really pushing us up. You have Meta and Microsoft trying to push up, and Nvidia is not. Amazon's trying, but sellers are just there putting it into this little downtrend. So it really feels like there's weakness, especially with Apple with that push up, and now we're pushing back down. If we break that low, then you know. So it's one of those things where we are up, but maybe we are kind of at a short term top, and there be some weakness here. So really, it's like let's see how CPI shakes out. Today feels a bit more cautiously bullish if you want to be bullish, but maybe it's a little bit of both sides as we wait for CPI. So that's kind of my read. I think on the trading chart itself. So I guess we could look at the NQ here really quick. Is this electronic? Yeah. So you see we had kind of the sell-off earlier into Asia, and then we pushed up 150 points, bounced off VWAP, made a new high, couldn't quite break this level here, and then just kind of falling back over to here. Now we're breaking new lows. So that's um, so it's like Asia, London tried to push us up, didn't quite do it, and now we're back to where we started when we ended yesterday, basically, or began yesterday pre-market or after hours. Sorry. So that's something to keep in mind, but it feels like maybe we want the lows here. So there you go. If we look at ES, same story, looks exactly the same as the NQ. And then we look at gold. So gold's holding up. So this, I guess if there was a long, it might be in gold. Like gold is holding up pretty well. Um, we're above the VWAP and all that. It's been, up. It's grinding up here, and this is so this is regular trading hours. If I can switch this to electronic here, switch you back to the footprint view. Right. So if you look at just the hourly, it's been just high lows as of yesterday after we've been down and all that. This low was protected. So we've been going up, a little bit of pullback into this resistance level, which became support, and it's been holding up above that, and so if there was a long, it's going to be in gold. And we have see this little imbalance here. So let's see how price reacts there. So I think that's kind of my read in the morning. I think if there's a long, it'll be in gold, and there's probably a near-term morning session short in the equities. So we'll see how we go. I think today won't be. I'm not looking for too much follow through given that CPI. So it might just be in and out and kind of play the edges. So we'll see. So yeah, that's kind of my read on things, and we will see how we go. And don't get caught. Awesome. All right. Thank you.